do a off-road, high clearance or four-wheel drive vehicles for the off-road trip. Frank went out a couple days ago and scouted out a trail, and I guess it was too rough even for him. And so they went out again yesterday, scouted a trail, and he's going to tell us about it now.
All right, well, thanks. Welcome everybody to Quartzfest. I hope a bunch of you get a chance to join us on the four-wheel drive ride again this coming year. Last year, we did something a little bit of a departure. We did a ride that was closer into town here, and did a lot of the history of town and the area around town and that sort of thing. But all things considered, it was a very easy ride. You could have done that with a sedan last year, even though we were in a wash. It was still pretty easy. I've run out of things I can do that are that easy, and so we're back to doing an actual four-wheel drive ride this year. So it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the folks that we're hoping to bring along an unlifted SUV or a long pickup. So if you want to try it with that sort of a vehicle, you want to come and see me and we'll talk about it a little bit. This ride's going to be a little rougher for that reason, but it's very scenic. We're going up to Boyer Gap, which is north and west of town, that way, and we will see a lot of beautiful country, a lot of nice desert area, a couple of active mines, and we're going to go visit an inactive mine that you can walk around in and see a lot of the scenery. So it'll be a great day. The weather forecast for Thursday, as I stand it right now, is excellent. So I think we're going to be good. I tried to do a ride up to Dripping Springs, which is a ride I've done in the distant past, and it's usually been a pretty good one. But I went up there yesterday, and it was rough as a cob. It was, we're talking 1-foot boulders all over the place. I mean, it was horrible. So there's no way I can bring a group this large up that way. So I gave up on that one, and we ran the Boyer Gap ride today, and it worked out pretty good. There's going to be one rough spot though, so you really need to have a four-wheel drive vehicle, or at least a well-traveled vehicle with lots of ground clearance for this. So I apologize if that leaves anybody out, but that's the way it'll go. Other than that, we'll give you some more details as the week goes on. Please set your radios ahead of time to 146.00, right in the middle of the upper half of the 2-meter band, 146.00. And we will have a gorgeous day. Please set your radios before you get there. We'll line up outside the welcome tent here, starting about 8 o'clock, 8:15 or so on Thursday morning, and we'll take off promptly at about 9. So we're going to go that way and across the Tyson Wash and up to Dome Rock Road and across that way under the freeway and go north. So questions? Go ahead. Yes, ATVs can join us on this ride. Just make sure that you're comfortable with it going up something that's pretty steep. And generally we put the ATVs towards the rear of the pack just because they raise a little bit more dust. But I'm glad to have you along. Yes, sir. Good thing. Thank you for the reminder. Anyone who's planning to go on a ride, and that's probably more fits when we get down to the last day or two before the ride, but you should all consider lowering your tire pressures down to at least half of what you run on the highway with, because softer tires give you a better ride and have a much nicer day, and it also means that your tires will be much more tolerant of potentially cutting rocks and things like that. So, and there's a few of those on this ride, so it's not going to be a free and easy one. This is not a dirt road. This is more. Go ahead, ma'am. No, just what I generally tell people is come on over early, sometime around 8:15 or so to 8:30, and there's always plenty of extra seats, so just get there early enough to get yourself a seat before everybody else does. So, yes, sir. That's a good question. There aren't many vehicles under 2,500 pounds. Technically, you're supposed to, but I don't think it's enforced around here. I have never heard of anybody being stopped around here for not having an off-road sticker, so I think we're all right. And we will go a little bit on the road, particularly coming back, because when we come back on this trip, we'll come into 95 about 5 miles north of town and head all the way down through town. So you do need to be street legal or know how to find a better way back. You can go down through Tyson Wash to get all the way back through to here, but it'll take you longer to do that. So, and I can tell people how to do that if they want to do it. So, any other questions? Guess we got it for today. Oh, one more. of us carry compressors, so that's not too hard to do. There's going to be quite a few good four-wheel drive folks along that all carry a compressor, and so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. But even so, even if you're aired down, you can drive all the way back to camp here and then fill it up that evening. So it's not necessary. You can go on a highway with aired down tires. You wouldn't want to go 100 miles that way, but going 20 miles is no big deal at all. So, any other questions? All right. Look forward to seeing you all on Thursday, or at least some of you. Oh, yes, ma'am. Food? Yes, bring some. Whatever you like, bring it along. We will be out past lunch. I'm going to try to make sure that we're back well ahead of the 3:45 afternoon get-together here, though, at the campfire. Was there one more back there? No? All set? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good point. Food and water.
Food and water. That's a good idea. Yeah, Eric was one of those on the site finding trip. In fact, he's the one that led it for us today to show me a new part of the road. So, all set, everybody? All right. We'll talk to you during the week. Anybody can come grab me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Gordon just passed me a note. If you have pop top or soda cans or beer cans, if you save the pop tops and bring them into the welcome tent, we'll try to find a container to put them in. Is that for the youth or what's that for? That's for FMCA. That's Family Motor Coach Association. We'll get to that in a minute. Russell, would you come up here just a minute and talk about the nanny and your jam session?
Yes, Thursday we will have a hootenanny here. Last year we tried to do it a little earlier before we got a little bit too dark, and I think we're going to do that again. Unfortunately, Kevin and Michelle will not be with us, and that happened once before, which is okay. I know there are some musicians out there. I can sense it. And if you feel comfortable with strumming, if it's a type of instrument which you strum or play along, wind instrument, anything like that, we welcome you. And if you want to have some kind of idea of what the songs are, they are listed on the website, or most of them are. So if you also want to get in kind of as a precursor to Thursday, we are going to have a jam session. Sometimes it's called a music lesson, guitar lessons, that kind of thing. And that's going to be in back of Chris's trailer, right by my Airstream motorhome, by the welcome tent on the back side. And check your schedule for the start time. That will be on Wednesday. So if you have a hard time with the song or some questions, we can go over that. And of course, this is not going to be something that you're worried about with the music awards ceremony in Hollywood or anything like that. So as my dad used to say, it's just us, okay? It's just us. So we will be here Thursday evening, usually at or around dinner time, maybe a little bit after. We'll have a setup here. We'll have some musical instruments, and we'll sing and play a myriad of songs. We try to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that because of the wide, varied like and dislikes of music. We try to just do a little bit of everything. And some people came up to me and said, I haven't heard that song in 30 or 40 years. Well, thank you. So anyway, we are here to provide just a little bit of entertainment for this event and do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. And we might need to curtail operations at a special event station while you're having the jam. One more note about the off-road trip. As many of you know who have done some off-roading, there are no restrooms in the desert. make sure you take care of business before you leave. Just a word of warning from the experience. Okay.
They're everywhere.
Restrooms are everywhere. Yeah. Right, ladies. About 3 months ago, I received a box in the mail. It was about a foot by 18 inches, but about, probably a foot tall. And it had no return address. And it was just addressed to me. And I was getting ready to take it down to the post office to find out what in the world was in it, or have it blown up or something. And I decided to get brave and opened the box. And inside the box was a note that said, give one of these away each day. And it was a box full of Bofang handheld radios. So that was quite a surprise. I don't know who sent it. Whoever sent it, if you're here, thank you so very much. We all appreciate it. Mr. Bo. Okay. How many of you have heard we got grand prize drawing this year? This is something we've been doing since 2011. Our first grand prize drawing gave out to Frank, our wagon master for off-road trip, KB7IQ, THD 72 Alpha handheld. That was from Phil at Kenwood. And a year or two later, I got an email from Ray, N9JA from ICOM, that said, hey, why don't you think about giving out an entire HF station? So Ray donated to us an ICOM. That was a 718, wasn't it? Yeah, 718. MFJ came up with a switching power supply, radio waves. We got an antenna, and I don't remember if we had a coax or not, but it was just about an entire HF station. And that was amazing. Now, step forward to last year. Our grand prize was an ICOM IC 9700, and it wasn't even on the market yet. Ray brought a prototype with him to Quartzfest and introduced that radio at Quartzfest. How awesome is that? It wasn't Dayton, it wasn't Huntsville, it was introduced right here at Quartzfest. Thank you, Ray. This year, oh, we're not done yet. Oh, I know. This year, Ray has volunteered to donate an IC 705, which is not even prototyped into his pocket yet. IC 705 will be available in May. So whoever wins the grand prize in May will, instantly win patience, yes. Now, in order for you not to be taxed, Ray has to send the radio to me, and then I have to forward it to you. So you might receive an open box. With a Bofang in it. Or two, yeah, I could spray for two. Ray, do you want to give a little bit of blurb on what 705 is going to do? And 705 is a QRP rig. It's a really nice looking rig.
Yeah, it's going to be our second, well, I shouldn't say even second, because we've done several different QRP radios. But this one's going to be the industry's first software-defined radio that covers HF 6 to 440. If you've got one of the high-capacity batteries for an ID51, it will attach to the back and operate the radio. And right now, not a whole lot of specifications on it. I was hoping that it would be here so I could bring it here to play around with it out here in the desert. But to quote a famous phrase, I missed it by that much. It's supposed to be arriving at my house on the 28th of this month. So that's about it, Chris. Thank you for allowing me to come out here.
Allowing? Ray, your title is Senior Sales Manager for ICOM America. Today it is. After he gives us that radio, it might not be. This is Ray's second year out here with us, so awesome to have you with us. As I mentioned, Phil Parton from Kenwood started our grand prizes, and he has donated a THD-74 handheld that Gordo picked up at HRO in Anaheim, brought out here with him, so I do have that radio. So we can thank Kenwood for that also. And I also have to mention, did you notice the cobweb antenna over the special event station? That thing is smoking. It's doing an amazing job. I called Richard at MFJ. He's the senior customer service rep there, and asked him if he'd be interested in donating an antenna to us for Quartzfest. And he said, how about a 20 through 6 meter cobweb? And I said, hey, that would be cool. So he sent it to me, and we got it set up. Was it yesterday or Friday? Friday. We set it up Friday. And it's just been doing amazing work. This morning we even had Hawaii on it. But we've worked. Tom, are you here for Special Event Station? Tom, come on up. And I can never remember your call. I'm going to have to write it down. Tom's on the second year running our Special Event Station. This year he bought his trailer and his Yaesu FT950. We have the 950 and the ICOM 9100 in a Special Event Station. We have the cobweb antenna, and we have an off-center fed dipole. You want to tell us about contacts you've been making?
Well, after lunch, I think Gordon came over and we switched over definitely directly to the cobweb with my radio, and we probably did about 50 contacts at least. We've got Maine, Delaware, so we're hitting the East Coast real good. Midwest was just booming in today, so stop by. Oh, and we had a young lady come in, Karen, made her first HF contacts, so it was great. We had to do some talking. I wanted to thank Stephen for coming in and helping out on teaching people how to run, do contacts. So we had a great time. So come on out if you're newbies, or even if you're not licensed, you can come by. We can get you on the air.
Thank you, Tom. KG7DKL. Let me write that down. Where's my pen? There it is. Okay, I got that down. Steve, your wind system. Come hither. How many of you have heard of the wind? How many of you have heard of the wind system? Wow. Wow. How many of you use the wind system? Not so many. Steve is here on your fourth year? Third year. Yeah, fourth year here, third year providing coffee. They provide coffee for us every morning, so go on over there and don't just get your coffee. Stick around, talk to Steve about the wind system, what it is and what it does. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Try to make it short. A lot of people ask what we are. We're simply a linked repeater group. We have anywhere from 120 to 300 repeaters linked all the time. Many are our own, many are affiliates, and many are people just dialing into our system. So we're backed by IRLP and All-Star, as well as RF linked as well. In Southern California, a lot of RF linked repeaters. So we have two reflectors, our IRLP reflector 9100 and our All-Star connection is 2560. So any of you that do either of those modes, we are strictly a analog system, so we don't do digital, but we are linked and we are up and active here. We have kind of a poor internet link, but nevertheless you can listen to our system. It's on 446.8